All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video, and I hope everyone did well in the with the whole storm here in the North America with Hurricane Helene. Hopefully, everybody's power's back on. I know there was some flooding in certain parts of the country and stuff like that. Hopefully, everybody's doing okay and everybody's safe. But where I lived, everything was fine. There was no major damage. We just lost power for about 8 hours, but other than that, not too bad. Counting my blessings, very not upset about that. Feeling very blessed. Okay, now on to the video. Back to our normally scheduled program, right, guys? So today we're going to be checking out green, yellow Yamato. Okay, green, yellow Yamato in OP09. Something that I've coined a term here. Some other people may have already said it by now. Some people, I don't know what people call it, but I think there's a actual category in this game. Like, there's aggro, mid-range, control. I think there's something I'm going to start calling trigger aggro. It's not the same as like fill the board, go wide, and go aggro. It's more like this kamikaze style where it's like I'm just going to take every life aggressively and I'm just going to run my opponent over. Okay, that's it. And what better leader to do that with than the one you see on the screen right now? Green, yellow, Yamato, of course. Very strong leader, right? I mean, everyone knows, hey, double attack on the leader is very good. Not necessarily broken or anything, but very powerful. And that bottom part of her effect is very good as well. And the more bodies you can get on the board, hey, the more the merrier, right? All the better. So that is going to be the theme of today's video. We're going to be exploring this concept of a very aggressive green-yellow Yamato list. For people who enjoyed my Bello Betty aggro deck or my green-yellow Arlong list or deck, I think you're going to really enjoy this one. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into it, guys. Let me give you a quick breakdown. First things first, we are going to be heading over to a lab. We're going to be checking out a game of blue-yellow Ace versus black-yellow Luffy. We're going to analyze that and see what we can learn from it, okay? That's first things first. After that, we're going to go straight into the sim. I've got 6 games on the sim running green-yellow Yamato. And I keep wanting to say Arlong. That's why I keep pausing, guys. Bear with me because I was, I've been on a green-yellow Arlong kick for a little bit now. But green-yellow Yamato, not much different. I'm going to tell you right now. It's different in the way that the leader is, right? But the cards we're running they're probably interchangeable. You'll see when we get to it. Anyway, so we'll be checking out 6 games on the sim. Then we're going to head over to the deck list. We're going to check out, some possible adjustments going into OP08 where we're in the West. Guys, I think the list is very modifiable, if that's a word, modifiable. Yeah, something like that. You can actually modify it to where it works in OP08, I believe, because I'm only running 6 cards from OP09 to change the list. You'll see that when we get to it. Very good cards, but nevertheless, 6-card difference, probably not going to be a make or break type of situation if you're trying to play it as soon as you can. All right, and then we'll finish up that way, looking at the deck list. Like I said, we'll also talk about the price of the deck. Very cheap as well. Well, not the cheapest deck we've seen, but it's it's under $100. We'll talk about that when we get to it as well. Okay, that's enough rambling. Let's go ahead and dive into the video. I'll have everything time-stamped, in the general description, and I will have all relevant deck lists and links in the comment section below. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's get into it. First things first, we're over on the lab here. Let me go ahead and turn the this leader panel off here. Okay, got the volume off. We've got the speed on 2x, and the quality is up. So here we go, guys. First things first, we've got the lab. Okay, for the new listeners, this section of my video is called the VV Lab. And what we do here is people submit their gameplay to me to review, and it's all free of charge. And what I do is, you see how I block out the names. We have no idea who's playing. We're just trying to learn from other players. And it can kind of work as like a miniature coaching session with me. So if you are interested in me reviewing one of your, games, it's very simple. It's very easy to do. All you have to do, record one of your games, just like what we see right here on the sim. You can do a live game as well, but most people do it on the sim. Record it, and then upload it to YouTube, and then hop on the VV Theory Discord and submit your Submit the link for the game under review my game. Okay, and then as soon as I see it, I put a thumbs up by it, I add it to the list, and you're the next one in line. You know what I mean? It is first come, first serve, so there is a little bit of a line currently, but whenever it's your turn, you're the next one up, whenever you're the next one up. I don't skip around and pick like the content that I want. I just go straight down the list. Okay, guys. All right. So that's if you have any questions on this part, please just ask in the comment section below, and I'll help out as best I can. Now that we got that out of the way, we got a game here of blue yellow Ace versus black yellow Luffy. Okay, let me go ahead and hit play. Go ahead and check out the hand here. It looks like when they started recording, we can already see the opening hand. It does say, you guys can't see this because I have it blocked out, but the blue-yellow Ace player did get to choose to go first or second, and they chose to go second. Excellent. That's good for both reasons, right? Number one, you're getting your opponent off there going second. You do not want Luffy, black-yellow Luffy in this case, you don't want him to get to 10 Dawn like on an even 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You don't want him to have that luxury. Yes, he will get to attack you first if he goes first, but that's not the biggest problem going against black yellow Luffy, right? That's not our biggest concern. Now, another thing, the other reason is blue yellow Ace wants to go second. He actually wants to because his leader effect requires 2 Dawn. Okay, so if you can attach 2 Dawn immediately to do that on turn 2 and potentially get some value from these little 2-cost guys in our hand, we'll take that every single time, right? We'll take it every single time. Okay, all right, let me go ahead and let's get into this game. And we have Pudding. Pudding is actually a very strong card against a lot of decks, but it's very, very good against black-yellow Luffy if you starve them. Force them to draw all their cards, don't attack them early, and then you can starve, like later in the game when they have like 8 or 9, 10 cards in hand or more, drop down Pudding, and they're going to be a very sad person, right? However, I will say I have no experience of blue-yellow Ace versus black-yellow Luffy. So I'm very curious to see how this goes. Okay, so you're going to do a top 5 search with the leader effect. You can put a 5-cost character on top of your deck face up. Going to play out the 2 cost that can cheat it out from the top of your life. And it's going to give our leader plus 2,000. And we're attacking. And what on earth? The black-yellow Luffy countered out fully. Pause. Okay, so that was a just flat-out play mistake, okay? Where's the chess accuracy meter? I do like to bust this out sometimes. So we've got a mistake here, guys. That was just a blunder. That might have been a blunder. It was probably more than a mistake. So for those who are wondering, black-yellow Luffy, this guy might be a newer player. That's okay. That's why we do these that's why we do the VV Lab, right? So we can learn from other players. Not just learn from me. Let's learn from other players as well, because I make certain mistakes. Other players make other mistakes. Everyone's at a different skill level in this game. Now, real quick, I have played much black-yellow Luffy. And unless this is just a very brand new, brand spanking new list I've never seen before, that was strictly a play mistake. Because you actually want to go down to 0 life. You're actively trying to get to 0 life as comfortably as possible playing black-yellow Luffy. So us swinging in there should have just been a simple matter, like as the Ace player, it should have been a simple matter of like, okay, let's try and get some value because we pumped up to 7 this turn. Let's just go ahead and attack for 9. And they should have just taken it, right? That should have been the logic there for the black-yellow Luffy players. Just take it. They get all their cards in their hand they can play out next turn, and they go down 1 life, which is perfect for them. They want to get down to life. So if you're a black-yellow Luffy player, take these early hits, please, guys. That was just an absolute play mistake. Okay, back to the game. They do play out a Kuzan for their follow-up. I love that. I've been seeing a lot of Kuzans in here. They swing for 6. It bounces because we're at 7k power. And hey, I guess maybe they're playing around... what's her name? We were just talking about it. Maybe they're playing around the Charlotte Pudding in our hand. Maybe that's the logic there. I have no idea. So that was well played. So pause. So some people might be thinking like, oh, that was greedy to take the life with that Luffy. The 5-cost Luffy that takes the top card of your life, draws a card, and goes plus 2,000. It was not as greedy as you might think. It was done specifically so that we could KO the Kuzan. The Rocket Boots Luffy we just played, remember guys, his Activate main will not work. You will not be able to KO a 4 or less and draw a card if you do not have 2 or less life. That's why that was played in that order. I would have probably swung first, you know what I mean? Swing with the Luffy first like you did, swing with the leader, then use the effect. But I don't know, I guess potentially playing around triggers, because hey, this seems like a pretty interesting list we're seeing from the black-yellow Luffy player. Who knows, maybe we're playing around Shigan Finger Pistol. I have no idea. But hey, that worked out fine. Let's go ahead and see what happens here. So gonna not swing for 5. So now we're in the... This is perfect. Okay, we got our value from the Luffy. We have starved the black-yellow, you know, the black-yellow Luffy. I was talking about the character. But we've starved the black-yellow Luffy, the leader here. And now we're going to be able to... Okay, wow. So playing out a Perona. Yeah, so this is a very different black-yellow Luffy list. I'm very curious to see how this goes. But we're in a very good position. You know, just to finish my thought, guys, we're in a very good position as the blue-yellow ace player right now. They hit us with a Perona. We have a lot of cards we can trash here. This is no problem for us. I don't know if I would have trashed the blocker, but at the same time, swing for 8. Are we going to counter out? So we're going to 2K counter, 2K counter. We have no more 2K counters in hand. So I was going to say the card that I might have trashed there was probably the Garp. It looks like we're about to play it out this turn. But remember, that ace is actually like a miniature version of Garp, right? It does a top 2 arrangement and establishes a blocker. But hey, that's all right. So it looks like we're going to go ahead and do a top 5 search here. Very nice. And now since we did use the Garp, now we can use the 2-cost ace. Whoops. Oh, okay, so we chose the Luffy there. Interesting. I'm very surprised we didn't choose... Let me go back real quick. Okay, so this was the top 5 search. This was the top 5 search with our leader effect for a card that would go on the top of our life. And we have every option available, right? Everything but a Rocket Boots Luffy. We have access to the ace, the 5-cost buff Luffy, and the 5-cost blocker ace. So the rush ace, the blocker ace, and the buff Luffy. I personally would take the one that the mouse is over right now. You can see it in the top right corner of the screen. The rush ace here will be able to swing in right now because we're at 2 or less life. Because even when you put it on top of your life and you cheat into play, you still, you know, you go down to 2 life. So now you can use the on-play effect to get rushed. But he's going to go ahead and grab the buff Luffy. I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that's a bad play or anything for sure. Okay, playing out the Luffy. We have 9. We still have 3 Dawn left. We don't have any follow-up play here unless we want to play out the ace, which is kind of risky, the little 2-cost ace. Okay, and I think it looks like we're about to swing here. Okay. And they do take it, which is smart. That's what they should have done. That's what they should have done a while back now, a few turns ago, right? Okay, they did a... oh, so... They played out their event for the turn. They're doing a top 5 search. They revealed a ace, the ST13011. I think that's the little ace. Oh, no, that's it right there. That's the 011. Sorry, guys. So they got the 5-cost ace. They're just playing it out. They're going to swing for 8 into 7. That's interesting. We do have to say something here. It's just a better idea. And okay, so now we can't swing with our leader, right? I think it's honestly just a better idea. Instead of loading the 3 onto the Perona, load 3 on your leader in this case. Like, I know we're watching through the eyes of the blue-yellow ace player, but guys, hear me out. Why would the black-yellow Luffy swing with the Perona when they can just swing with their leader? Because they can't swing with one of them, right? You have to choose, okay, who do I want to swing with, my Luffy or my Perona? Well, if I leave my Perona active, my opponent can't attack into it. And if he wants to use a 5-cost Luffy on it, by all means, you know, be my guest. But it's like, if I leave that card active, I can use it next turn. But now that we've tapped out with it, it's an easy target to attack into and start getting value in that way. And then, you know, likewise, if we had just attacked with the leader, we still could have swung for 8 and 7, and we could have gone about things that way while securing a character on the board that shouldn't be sideways if we can help it. If that made sense. Hopefully that made sense, guys. I know it's a little bit clumsy. Okay, so they're swinging in for 7 into 7 with the 5-cost rusher ace here. Looks like we're just going to give them a 1K. I absolutely agree with that. Wait, how much did we just give them? Okay, 1 second. So we gave them 7 to go to 8 and 8 to go to 9. So we gave them 1 extra one. I wonder if there was an idea behind that or if that was just a mistake. Okay, we're going to do a top 5 search with the with the leader effect. Another Luffy. I think we've seen all of our Rocket Luffys here. Playing that out, I like that a lot because now our character is going to be... Oh, wow. Are we going for lethal here? Looks like we're going for lethal. Okay. Very nice. So, playing out the 4-cost Luffy, I guess, or the 5-cost Luffy is decent in case they get a blocker. We should be able to pop it. Swing for 8, swing for 8, swing for 8, swing for 9. That's what's going on here. This will be very hard for them to get out of. Yep. Okay, they were not able to get out of that. GG. Okay, so that was a very interesting game. At the very end there, I feel like we kind of rushed it, but at the same time, I think it's a good idea to not take your time against Black-Yellow Luffy if you don't think you can survive, because they start going very tall, right? But it has to be said, I don't understand. We got to go all the way back to the beginning, guys. All the way on turn 2, this Luffy. So here we are. We're on turn 2 for him. He attacks in for 8. That's perfect. That's what Luffy normally does if they don't have a... Actually, no, hang on. Watch what they trash here. I don't understand this. So attach 2. Sorry, guys. Are we on 2x? We are. So real quick, I just want to show you guys. I don't understand why he would not develop a Garp here. So, okay, play that out. And watch this. We're going to swing for 9. Look what they trash. Luffy... What? Okay. They just trashed, one more time. Okay. 2 cost Luffy. 5 cost Luffy. 2 cost Luffy. 2 cost Sabo. 1 cost Garp. So, in other words, they had all of those cards at the beginning of their last turn when they had 3 Dawn. So, I don't understand why they would counter out like that when they could have just played out a Garp to start the turn, fixed their hand a little bit. They can still swing for 7 at our leader, you know, and probably get a card from our life. Not many people counter out of 7 early on, which is understandable. You know, hey, they committed that much early on. Let's go ahead and draw a card from it from our life. That was the very first problem of this game, and from there, you could kind of see the black-yellow Luffy player didn't quite understand how the deck works. But let's not pick on him too much, because understand this, guys. The absolute best part about using the sim is this is a great place to learn, right? So don't worry about hopping on the sim and, you know, getting run over like this, right? If you're the black-yellow Luffy player, don't worry about it. That's the best part about the sim. It's a place for you to practice at home. Because guess what? This guy's probably only like 1 to 10 games into playing black-yellow Luffy. They might be 1 to 10 games into playing One Piece. No problem. Wait till they're about 50 games into playing. Wait till they're about 100 games into playing. Wait till they're 1,000 games into playing, and their next game won't look like that. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully that made sense. All right, really good submission there. That was good stuff. A lot to learn from that, especially for the black-yellow Luffy player. Blue-yellow Ace did a very good job. I will say, like I said, at the very end, I don't know if I would have been taking life as aggressively, especially when we were giving out blockers and stuff like that. But at the same time, it worked out just fine. Got the job done, and at the very end there, swinging for 8 8s. It was 3 8s and a 9. It's hard to get out of that, guys. 3 8s and a 9, that'll usually do the trick. Okay, let me get a setup real quick, guys. Give me just a second. Black out the screen. I'm going to leave my face here, because we are just hopping right over to 6 games on the sim. Okay. Y'all give me just a minute, guys. Let me go full screen here, take off the overlay, and we are good to go. All right, perfect. Okay, so... Now, yeah, the main focus of today's video, of course, green-yellow Yamato. And this is what I'm calling, this is like a term, I don't know if other people use it or not, but it's like trigger aggro. And it works great with green-yellow Arlong. You're going to see it works pretty good with green-yellow Yamato. Works pretty good with red-yellow Sabo and red-yellow Bello Betty. And I guess just anything with yellow in it, you have this potential for like this trigger aggro deck, because of how many triggers we have in the game currently. Before, this wasn't super possible. You know, I mean, you know, I don't mean like that far back, like as in, how do I say this? Like OP07, it probably was possible to some extent, and even in OP05 and OP06, some variant of it was possible. But before that, remember guys, yellow didn't even come into the game until OP03. For those who are not aware, yellow, the color, didn't come into the game until OP03. Black came in OP02. So, you know, OP03, 4, and 5, there weren't really as many triggers as there are now. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and dive into this, and tell me, I really want to know what you guys think about this, because I think this is onto something. This is just a first draft. I came up with it earlier today, guys. I sat down and I was like, okay, I had a whole nother, you know, I wasn't even sure what I was going to do for today's video. And I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and bust out Yamato and kind of mess around with a list that is similar to Red Yellow Sabo, where it does have a lot of triggers, but maybe more like Arlong, where it has even more triggers, okay? And guys, I'm telling you right now, I think I queued up 7 games and went 6-1. Now, of course, everyone's mileage may vary. You get lucky some games. Your opponents get unlucky other games. You know, don't expect to just queue up and go 7-1 like, or 6-1 like I said over the course of 7 games. Especially when I put out a video like this and people start expecting it. You know, that's one of your best weapons, guys. Is you know, how do I say this? Oh gosh, I can't think of it off the top of my head. But your opponent not knowing what you're doing, that is like the absolute best weapon you can have, is doing something unexpected. where it's like, wait, what is this? What deck is this? Like, I'm playing green-yellow Yamato. They're probably thinking this is going to be a pretty chill game where we're about to go, you know, super late into the game and do Fortress, you know, Fortress-style Yamato. Nope, I've got bad news for you, bud. We're going all in. We're going to drop you down life as fast as we can and go from there. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop in this first game. Let me make sure the volume is off and the speed is on 2x. And here we go, guys. Notice my hand to start. We're going against a Blue Doflamingo, and this is in the OP09 sim. So I only have 2 cards that are in OP09, but at the same time, you know, my opponent can have as many as they want. That, you know, they're not, none of us are bound by any kind of restrictions. I'm just only using 2 cards from OP09. Okay, now let's go ahead and hop into this. All right, so green-yellow Yamato versus blue Doflamingo. My hand is completely triggered out, so I think you guys kind of see where this is going. And like I said, I'm calling it trigger aggro, so you know exactly what to expect here. Basically, if it's not a trigger card, it's going to be a rush card. Okay, the element of surprise is like your best weapon, guys. That's what I was trying to say earlier that was just slipping my mind, is the element of surprise, right? Where your opponent has no idea what's coming next. Okay, so we swing in for 8 there. They take it. They're down to 3 life. Oh, well, that's convenient for all of my Land of Wano cards, right? Get them down to 3 life, and that's exactly where we need the 3 life or less is exactly where we need them to start taking life and getting value that way. Now, this was actually really unfortunate. I have very few triggers that are that bad early on. Like, for example, I got a beige as my first life trigger. That was actually really unfortunate for what we're trying to do. And hey, it was a little greedy taking the early hit, but I took it because I was hoping to get something decent from it. So we're going to play out on 5, the Nami KOing a 5 or less by trashing a trigger card from our hand. And we're not at less than 5 cards in hand, or less than 3 cards in hand, so we didn't get to draw a card. But we got a character out of the way. I've established a body. They're swinging in for 7. It'll actually, I think it will actually end up being 8. Okay, just waiting for our opponent to set their top 3 cards with Boa. That's what's going on right now. They're setting their top 3 cards, and they're going to pick where a Dawn is going to go. Let me make sure we're in 2x speed. I don't ever want to forget that because we got 6 games lined up for today. Even though one game is actually very short because it was more of a blooper. We'll laugh about it, but it was funny. So they go in for 8 here. I take it, and I got another Nami to pop their blocker. Look at their board, guys. They are desperately searching for something. They're like, okay, I just lost another body because they've just lost 2 4-cost boas, right? They just lost 2 of their 4-cost 6K blocker boas. Right here, okay, we're going to attach 1 Dawn to Jewelry Body. I'm trying to do a little bit of math because this is my first time messing around with this deck, like period, right, with this kind of version of the list. So right here, I'm going to swing in for 7, see if they want to give me anything. Now, the smarter play here would have been to take this one. They don't take it. So now it's like, okay, well, now I'm going to swing for 8, and it's double attack, and I get the Bonnie effect. Okay, draw 2 trash. When I trash the Denjiro, I am running Denjiro in here, guys, because, hey, that's a nice body to get from your trigger, right, potentially. And that's another thing, too, guys. While you're watching these games, they swing in for 7 here. I'll probably just take this and try to get another trigger. But that's another thing to consider, guys. What direction, like, there's some things, there's still some wiggle room in the deck. For example, beige is not necessarily something we have to run. That could potentially be Hiyori, right? That could potentially be Hiyori because we're running so many triggers. Guys, I think I'm running like 45 45 triggers in this list. Okay, did we just get another? Hang on one second. We just got another Bonnie from the top. Or Nami from the top. Look at that. We'll trash the Bonnie because we don't need it anymore because he pushed the Nami back to hand, swung in for 7. We took it. It was another 5-cost Nami. We pop his dude that's active so that way in case I need to swing into the board we can. Because we have to be very careful here as well. This game is like fresh on my mind because like I said, I did play this earlier today and I know they have a perfume femur. I don't know if they revealed it with a Sengoku earlier or what, but I know for a fact that they have a perfume femur. So I think this, if I'm not mistaken, I have to play around this game. Okay, let's see what happens here. So we're going to swing for 7 and see if this goes through. And then I can just load everything up on the Nami and go from there. Or actually, I think I would go Hody Jones, tap down the rest of their Dawn, load 2 on Nami to swing 7, and then swing 8 with Hody Jones. It does not go through, though. Okay, so now my game plan has changed. Okay, they give me a 2K, a 1K. So now my game plan actually has to change, and I go for Dureshi here, which is a new event coming out in OP09. It's one of the few cards I'm running from OP09. It is a top 5 search for a trigger card. But get this, guys. you can search 2 trigger cards off the top 5. Outrageously good, right? So I grab a Kikanojo and a Frankie, so a 2K counter and a body. Now I'm going to use, after paying 3, I'm going to attach 2 Rested Dawn to my Nami and swing 7 into a 5K body. They counter out. I'm like, okay, that's not good. So I play out the Kikanojo here, threatening lethal next turn, right? That Dareshi card is really strong, guys, and I think it will be the main engine alongside Bonnie, the 3-cost Bonnie that came out in OP08. Those cards might make trigger aggro like a very legitimate thing, like a very consistent, legitimate thing. We'll have to see, though, guys. You know, this is nothing set in stone yet. We got to do some testing. But this did excite me, guys. I'm not going to lie. I don't really play much green, but I do play a lot of yellow, and I love playing with all the trigger packages. And this, I was pretty excited to mess around with this, like I said. Okay, they have 7 Dawn left, so I am anticipating... Excuse me, they have 8 Dawn left, so I wasn't sure what they were going to do. Like, if they were going to do... I'm just going to take this, I think, and then we can get a trigger from it. We get a Satori. Yep, trashing the Dareshi. We don't need that now. So now we have pretty much confirmed lethal. Let me pause for a second, guys. So now we pretty much have confirmed lethal. I took that aggressively when I could have actually countered out of it, because I'm not at jeopardy of losing from the Perfume Femur now, right? Because I'm actually going for lethal next turn no matter what. He doesn't know I had a Hody Jones in hand. So I'm going to take the life aggressively here and then potentially get a trigger body. I'm only running, like, I think 40 trigger bodies in this deck, guys. We'll look at the deck list later. So it's like, okay, I have a very high chance of getting a trigger body. I get one, and I still have 8 2K counter, like 8,000 power in counter in hand. And then I have a Hody Jones. So no matter what they play this turn, if it's a 3-cost blocker or what, it doesn't matter, because I'm going to be coming in for, like, I haven't done the math, but it'll probably be like 5, 7, 7, 8 or something like that. So this, you know, this is basically unstoppable lethal at this point. Even if they have events, even if they have blockers, it does not matter, because Hody Jones can rest characters and Dawn. Okay, so they're actually just going to try to end the game right here, because I guess they've determined that, you know, they're in trouble, you know, and they are. They're in a lot of trouble. So they swing in for 6, we're going to give them a 2K counter. Okay, and then I get the, again, we're going to swing for 7. Let's see what happens. 2K, 1K to get out of it. Okay, so now I'm just going to play this out, tap that, you know, I don't know. Well, I was going to attach 2 to this guy, but I think he ends up leaving here, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, he does. GG to that guy. That was a good game. And like I said, we knew he had Perfume Femur in hand, so I didn't even have to attach the 5 with my character. I could have just swung 5. But it's like, all right, let me just, you know, for whatever reason, I'll just practice for other games. You know, practice specific Dawn attachments for other games. Because what I could have gone there was 7, 7, 7, 7 on the leader, and then 9, then 8, excuse me, on Hody Jones. I think there's probably also an argument to go like 6 to get a 2K counter out of their hand early, and then go 7, 7, and then 9. But I don't think there's much of a difference, to be honest. Okay, that was a fun one. Let's go to the next game. All right, next up we got a game versus, you know, my absolute favorite deck, guys. My absolute favorite deck here. I don't know which version they're running, but I think it was a very similar version to mine, but I think they start off with a Nami here. No, they don't. So I think this one was very similar to the version that I'm running. Okay, so let's see here. They're going to start off by swinging for 8. And I think I do take this. I really wanted to counter out, believe it or not, just in case I hit a Kikanojo or a Nekomamushi. Or a Denjiro. I'm running Denjiros as well. But okay, we're actually swinging for 9, guys. We're going in hot here. They got no triggers. So I was like, whew, okay, hey, I didn't get a trigger. They didn't get a trigger, so it's only fair, right? It's only fair. But no, it happens. I know how that goes. Okay, because they might have actually gotten a trigger like a Nami, but hey, on turn 2 with this deck, guys, I think you should just get your opponent down to 3 life or 2 life. 3 life if they're a monocolored leader. 2 life if they're a dual-colored leader. Okay, just waiting on our opponent now. They're going to play out a Zoro. Oh, did I put on... I think I forgot to put on 2x speed. Nope, we're good. Okay, so they're going to swing for 7, but they have no other Dawn to play with for the turn. So I'm going to actually counter out of both of these, I think. Yeah, we're going to counter out of both of these, believe it or not. Because I wanted... So, okay, so hear me out. I wanted to get down to enough cards in hand to cycle out with my Nami. But I didn't do the math quite right, so it kind of messed everything up. But we're still going to trash the Denjiro here to pop the Zoro. Keep pressure on our opponent. You don't want to let them have these characters. Guys, I'll tell you from experience, you're supposed to protect your characters on the board. You're supposed to. So if I had swung 6 into the Zoro and then like maybe 5 more or something, they're just going to counter out of it because they can get so much value from it on the next turn. It pays for itself. Even the counter power, think about it, it becomes a life if it stays on the board potentially. So I'm just going to pop it with a character so it's confirmed. You can't save it from that, right? Okay, so this is a fun play here. They're going to swing for 7. We get a Bonnie. We'll do a draw 2 trash one. I'm going to trash a Hody Jones because I have 2 of them. And then they're going to push the Kikinojo back to life. Okay, very solid play here. But honestly, guys, I'm not too, how do I say this? I'm not really concerned about them getting a Kikinojo. And some people might have been thinking, why not use the Nami there? I've already got you covered, don't worry. That's coming up soon here. I've got it all planned out, guys. Calm down. I've got it all planned out. Okay, I'm at 2 life. I do have quite a bit of counter power in hand. If I need counter power, I have 2, 4, 6, 7K in hand. I'm taking that. Hey, we get a no Nami. That was actually much better than it sounded, guys, because now they don't get to keep cheating that character into play. Now they have to develop a whole nother body on the board, or they're actually in deep trouble, right? Because, hey, you guys know I have an Onami in my hand, and now he knows I have an Onami in my deck because he saw what just happened there. And I guess that set his entire play back. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, and he just quit. So here's what's interesting. Let's see what he could have done. I remember this game now. Notice this. He didn't even quit prematurely. He can't counter out of anything. His hand is completely bricked. So this is definitely not the version that I'm running, of course. I don't run the 6 Lin. I don't run the 10 cost Ace. I do run everything else except the Karasu for the most part. I don't know what his ratios are, but I do run something similar. I'm going to update my Red Yellow Sabo list soon, guys. Bear with me. Be patient on that. But just real quick. So what else could he have done here? That's the question. Technically, I guess the best play would have probably been... How much Dawn did he have left? He had 3, 4... so he had 7 Dawn left. So what he could have done there was play out the Charlotte Lin, see what I want to do. By the way, I think if he plays out the Charlotte Lin, I just take it. To be completely honest with you guys, I think I just, like, lose the life. I'll just lose the life there if I have to. And then he can swing 7 into me. I'll 2K, 1K out. He'll gain a life with the Lin. And then from there, you know, I'm just going to do exactly what I just showed y'all, where I'm going to go all in, right? Because I have 2 characters on the board. I'm coming in for a double attack with Banish. And then I'm going to go from there. And as it turns out, you know, he probably couldn't have survived that. The other option is this. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the Lin, because if I needed to, actually, like, thinking back on it, I probably could have just trashed my Neko Mamushi and a Beige. And then I could have had counter power. I could have still had life and gone about things that way. And then when he attacks in, I could take the hit from the leader and then get a Kikinojo into play and go about things that way. But I didn't know Kikinojo was there. Anyway, there were a few ways that could have gone. But let me just say this. One problem with Red Yellow Sabo is you got to be careful building too tall like this. I even had someone mention recently in the Discord. We're always brainstorming Red Yellow Sabo in the Discord, guys. So if you guys want in on that action, by all means. I haven't been as active as I've been in the past lately. I've just been super busy, especially with the whole hurricane and everything. But guys, as soon as I get time, I try to catch up with everybody. With Red Yellow Sabo, someone asked me, like, hey, what about the 10 cost 11K Rush Ace or Rush Luffy? Excuse me. I think it's from ST10. That's a great card. However, it's not quite what we want in Sabo. We need so much more combo potential with low-to-the-ground cards. And moving forward, especially going into OP08.5 and going into OP09, I think the biggest card we're going to be running is going to be 8 cost. At least for the foreseeable future. We'll see what happens. We'll mess around with that later. 8 cost, of course, being Rayleigh or even potentially Katakuri. Katakuri answers a lot of problems. I'll talk about, again, that's for another video. Okay, let's keep moving. All right, next game here. Let me go full screen real quick. Volume is off. Speed is on 2x. We got a game against Shanks. Okay? Got a game against Shanks. Again, this is OP09, guys. So we got to deal with all the meta from OP09. They start off with this with the Uda Search. We're swinging in for 8 to start the game. If they can counter out of this, they should. They did not counter out of it. But remember, guys, for Shanks, this is just leader effect, 2K, 1K, and then I have to worry about doing damage next turn. So I think they probably should have countered out of it because now all my triggers are on. But again, this person might not realize the type of list I'm running. Okay, slight play mistake here in my personal opinion. I don't think I should have played out that body. I don't think I should have played out the body here, but at the same time, watch what happens. We got a few options here. Okay, I'm trying to do a little bit of math here because I still want to play some cards out. I'm going to swing for 5. He's going to use his leader effect here, almost 99% because it's just free value. I'm going to swing for 10 now. And what I was hoping he would do is use his Lucky Roo to block my 10k attack and KO my character. Look what he does. 2k, 2k, 1k, 1k to get out of that. That seems outrageous to me personally, guys, to use that much. He's got 3 cards in hand now when he could have just used a blocker. Why not? And then that was that. Okay, but hey, that's the way that this guy chose to do it. Now, his leader is 6,000 power for the rest of this turn because of Yasop. Because of Yasop's on play effects. But watch this, guys. Boom. Played out the Nico Robin. That new Nico Robin is the other card that I run from OP09. I'm only running Dureshi, the event, and Nico Robin from OP09. Every other card is available to us currently. So I'm going to put 2 on Nekomamushi here using the leader effect. That's why it's so important to get them down to 3 or less life. I attach 2 Rested Dawn to my Nekomamushi to swing 7 into 5. He lets it go and he KOs my my Sanji, which was very interesting to me. I swing in for 6. He has to give me a, I think he did leader effect and 1k counter. And here we go. Because, guys, Nekomamushi's kind of a nuisance, right? But, hey, he had a Sanji to follow up. Seems good. I do think there's a slight misplay here. Yeah. So we're going to pause and talk about that. Hang on. I play out the Satori very aggressively. Why not KO my, what's her name? My Nico Robin? Because she's a 6,000 power character. So you can do -3 to her, -2 to my Nekomamushi, and then pop my Nico Robin, and then you can go 5 into my Nekomamushi, and I'm not going to protect that card. I'm just going to let it go, and then you have full board control. But now I still have a Nico Robin. Okay, let's see what happens here. So I aggressively take that. He's going to swing for 5. I don't think I should take this because I might have one more turn to try to survive here. Okay, we'll see what happens here. I'm trying to do a little bit of math. That's where we're at right now. I do try to develop a board as well a little bit, I think, here. And I'm trying to scare my opponent to, like, not go for lethal. That's really what I'm trying to do. Okay, so we're going to swing for 8 into 5. And, guys, this is going to cost a 2k and a 1k. And I'm surprised. Oh, yeah, he did use the leader effect. And I think I might play out the Jewelry Bonnie now and try to draw 2 trash 2, or draw 2 trash 1 kind of thing here. Because I still have 2 more attacks, actually. Because watch this, guys. I'll swing 6 into 6. Let's see if he lets this go. And if he doesn't let it go, then I'm loading everything on Nico Robin to make sure it gets off the board. Because like I said, I want this guy to be scared that I have one more turn. Yeah, I mean, I don't want him to try to go for lethal here. But, pause. So let's see real quick. So right now, I'm going to pause it. If he did a little bit of math here, I think that there's like no way I could survive. What do I mean? Rayleigh is an 8-cost, 8,000 power character. If he attaches just 1 Dawn, just for a single Dawn investment, he can actually smash in for 9, right? And that would get through because I don't have enough counter power in hand. Or if he has the 10-cost 12k Shanks, the Rush Shanks, that would do the trick as well. However, if he just pokes for 9 real quick, I'm actually going to take it because I can't survive, right? I can't block out. I only have 8. I can only get out of a 7k attack. However, there is the risk of me getting a beige and now shutting down his attacks in that way. You know what I mean? However, he still has the Uda. You see what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't think there was a big reason there to not load up 1 Dawn and poke me in the face for 9. But that's just me. If the Shanks player's listening, you had this game. You definitely had this game in the bag. They do a top 5 search with an event. I'm feeling very good now. Like, now I'm feeling very good about my chances of winning. Okay, we'll see what they do next. I'm kind of showing, like, okay, attacking to this guy, attacking to this guy. They go 9 into 5. Okay, I think I'm pretty much just going to let this go. Yep, I couldn't save it anyway. And then he'll probably go maybe 10 or 12 into the Nico Robin. And honestly, guys, I'm doing one of these numbers right here. I'm just wiping the sweat off my head because, you know, I dodged a bullet on this one, right? So here we go. In this situation, he has 2 cards in hand, and I know what one of them is. It's a Ben Beckman. I know that from the search. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm resting this down. And first things first, we're going to load up here. I'm coming in for 8. Do you have a 2k counter? If it's a 2k counter, he could reduce my power by 1 and then go about things that way. But now I'm loading up 10. They're loading up 2 from the effect and swinging in for 10. GG. Look what the last 2 cards in their life were. The last 2 cards in their life was a Rayleigh and a 10-cost Shanks, and the next card they had access to was a 10-cost Shanks. Some people might say this was a luckier game, and I do agree to some extent, but hey, it happens, right? It does happen. That's that element of surprise coming in. This guy didn't know what to expect, right? He didn't know what was coming his way. Okay, so now we got a game versus Vegapunk. This leader's getting stronger, guys. Every single new set, this leader's getting stronger and stronger. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I will say this. If Vegapunk does ever become very powerful, swinging with double attack on your leader is pretty good. It's really not bad. So they do a top 5 search with Lilith, and now it's their turn. So they only got 1 trigger, which is nice. I do take that, aggressively taking that, so that I can cheat out a potential trigger character. They're running Dareshi. Hey, that card's, guys, it's just a good card. If you're running anything over 20 triggers, you have to run Dareshi moving forward, I think. You don't have to, right? But it'd be very, very wise to do so. Okay, so right here, we've got a few options. I don't really know what I want to do in this situation. Yeah, this is a weird turn for me. I remember what I do here. Like, I think a lot of people will be like, wait, why did you do that? It's because 9 is a better number than 8. That's why. I'm going to give Banish to the Sanji. I'm going to attach 2 Rested Dawn to the Sanji. And I'm going to swing for 9 into this Luffy to try to banish it. But watch this. He 2K, 2K, 1K's out. Okay, well now I'm going to go at your board for 6. Your turn. Now we can just try this again next turn, right? Hey, we'll try again next turn. And that's one thing you can do, right? If you're paying attention. Now, they do get a Nami there. That was pretty nice. I think they were able to cycle a card. They got Shaka there. This looks pretty good for them. Now, we do swing in, or excuse me, we play out Nico Robin, which makes them trash the top card of their life if they have 3 or less cards in life. Or if they have 3 or more cards in life, excuse me. So we're going to swing for 6. I did that in that way to try to tempt them to take the Luffy. And pause. And it worked out. I wanted them down to 0 life. I didn't want them to, how do I say this? Most people would be thinking, like, why not swing with the Nami first? Well, it doesn't really matter in the end, right? If they were going to take the Onami hit, they would have popped Onami, and then they'd have 1 life left, and then they could counter out of that accordingly from the card they would have drawn with Luffy. Whereas if I put the 2 on Onami, kind of saying like, hey, if you don't counter out of this, I'm going to attack anyway again and get your Luffy. But this leader attack is a double attack, and that's the major difference. Okay, so here we go. So now it's their turn. They get a Raigo, or they use Raigo on their turn. They're going to swing for 5. It's a Frankie. Man, he was 1 away from being perfect. Okay, he gets the please save me, or I Rayquaza help, or whatever it's called. I'm going to swing for 7. He's going to get a Chaka back almost, yeah, I was going to say almost for sure. And we're just going to load 10 up here and swing in for 10. And watch this. Had triple 2K counter to get out of it. When that happened, guys, I was like, there's no way that just happened. There's absolutely no way that just happened. Because now I'm like, wait a minute, I might actually lose this game. Like, all of a sudden, I might lose this game. Might not, but this is as close. This was as close as it was going to come to that. And here's another situation where my opponent had 10 Dawn. And they could have swung at my life for a 10K and an 11K. And let's see what would have happened. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So I could have gotten out of the 6K of the 10K. But still, that was way too close for comfort, guys. That was way too close for comfort. Okay, so I have to let that go because I can't save it. I only have 6K in counter, like we just counted. I get a beige, so that is some more counter power. So this turn is going to be interesting. So the right play here, I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm trying to do the math in my head. I'm going to swing 6 into the Onami so they can't block with the Shaka for free. Swing 6 there. Yep, so that's gone. Now I'm going to use Dareshi here, and I can follow up, with other things here. Actually, I don't use Dareshi. I think I play out the Nami and the Sanji, if I remember correctly. Okay, trashing the Dareshi to pop that. Playing out the, maybe the Kikanojo, it looks like, keeping the counter power in hand. Maybe that's a good idea. Yeah, I like this much better. Okay, so they use Dareshi here to do a top 5 search, drawing 2 triggers. They got an Onami and Luffy. And honestly, okay, yep, use that. Pop the Sanji. Then they can put a card to the top of their life. I think they abruptly leave the game here, unfortunately. I guess they had done the math and they just decided they couldn't survive. Because I think they have a 9-cost Yamato in hand. and the other Onami, and that is what happened. So, so they can't play the Yamato, right? You can't put a Yamato into your life from the leader effect. What they would have to do here is take this first hit, and then they're just gone, right? Because I would swing for, okay, I would swing for 9 with Nami, and then I'd swing for 11 with my leader. And what are they supposed to do? I guess technically they could have used, like, okay, use the Nami to pop our other Nami, right? And then go about it that way. I don't know. I guess there was a few ways it could have gone, but in the end they ended up quitting. They might have had one more turn if they had tried things a little bit differently, but if they do things differently, then I also do my turn differently. And it just so happens, look at what my next card is on top of my deck. Hody Jones, that kind of shuts down any chance they had anyway. Okay, but that was a good game. That one was a lot of fun. Okay, now this next one here is a very short game. It's more of a blooper. I just want you guys to... It's not really a blooper. Nothing happened. It's just every now and then you're just going to get one of those starts where your opponent's just like, I'm out. I just don't want any part of this, right? And this is against Purple Luffy. And remember, this is in OP09. Purple Luffy's going to be very good there. They swing for 8. I'm like, nope, we're not going to let him have it this early. We have to be the one that gets first blood. You know, I'm the one who gets first blood around here, buddy. So swing for 9, double attack. He's down to 3. Purple Luffy tries to ramp by losing life. I'm all about it. Yeah, lose as much life as you want to. I take this aggressively. We get a Sanji. He gets a Sanji, the 5-cost 6K that can draw a card. And that's where the blooper comes in. Wait 1 second. So you guys will see. So right here, play out the Robin. It just eats a card. I swing for 5, double attack. He has to respect that. Leader effect, swing 7 with Sanji. I have no respect for this guy, right? As far as like my attacks, I'm just going straight to face. Go ahead, attack my guy if you want to. I've got nothing but gas. He has 7 Dawn. Notice how I was like mousing over at the top there? And then he just leaves. Here, let me go ahead and play, and he just leaves. He's like, wait a minute, why didn't I draw a card? You have to have 8 Dawn if you want to draw a card with Sanji. So, but don't get me wrong, look at his hand. He has 1K encounter, but he does have the 1-cost 4K Gum Gum Giant, which could have potentially got him a little bit further into the game. But look at my life, guys. It's going to be a Kikanojo coming in next, and then it's going to be a Hody Jones. It's just a bad place to be in. All right, we got one more game, guys. Let's check this last one out. These are fast games. These are pretty fast games. Maybe not as fast as the Arlong games, but, you know, that's not the worst thing, right? If you're a little bit slower than Arlong. I don't think you're in the slowest spot. Okay, this one's against Nico Robin. We got a game of green-yellow. These are both heavy trigger decks, guys. These are heavy trigger decks. I'm going to swing for 8 into 5. They're going to think about this for a minute. I think they do end up taking it, and they don't get any effective triggers. Like, they don't get any good triggers. Okay, they're going to go up to 4 Dawn here, and I don't know what's in their hand, but they're going to play out a Dareshi. I think it's too early to play Dareshi. At least swing 7 at me. You know what I mean? I think that's actually very important. You can ramp with the Nico Robin, threaten, banish, and go about things that way. But again, the element of surprise, right? They don't know I'm running a super trigger-heavy version of Green Yellow Yamato. And how could you know? How could you know? Because Fortress Yamato is still a thing. It's just not as popular as it used to be. So they did get something there from... They revealed an El Thor and I think a Nami from that Dareshi search. I revealed it over there. I'm not going to go back. You guys can check it out if you want to, if you scroll back. But here we go. So they're going to swing for 5 here because they want to keep El Thor up. Okay, I'll give him a 1K counter Sanji. Let's just, you know... We just want to attack, guys. We just want to attack. All right, just waiting on my opponent here. They've got 1 Dawn active. I don't know what's going on. All right, here we go. Got Hody Jones. I'm already feeling more comfortable. Like, okay, I'm feeling a little better now. We're going to swing for 10 with leader. We're saying, hey, next turn I've got Hody Jones where it's going to be a swing 5, swing 10. You know, they El Thor, which is only a 2K counter right now, guys. El Thor goes off your opponent's life. So if your opponent has 2 or more life, or 2 or less life, it's a 4K. Otherwise, it's just a 2K. But hey, they still got out of it. They did save it, but it cost a lot of cards there. This is Jaguar D Saul, 3 cost 5,000 power blocker, and if your leader is Nico Robin, trigger play this card. That is a very, very strong card. Gonna swing 8 into 5 here. It does have banish. I'm very tempted to just go beige. I'm very tempted to just go double beige here. Because I do have a Dareshi in my hand as well, right? Like, if I need to, I can very easily go about things that way, right? Like, I can just draw more cards here if I need to. Okay, so now it is should be my turn. Okay, we're gonna go up to 7 Dawn. And guys, I'm like, you know what? I'd rather draw my own life here since my opponent's trying to banish my life. I'm gonna go 5 into Saul and see what he does. Go ahead and give me a card. I'm actually not setting up lethal this turn, or excuse me, I'm not trying to go for lethal this turn. I'm trying to set up lethal for next turn because I'm assuming my opponent probably cannot deal with this Hody Jones unless they want to use a Rygo. But you know, I don't know if they're even running that. Swing for 10. They do take it. They get another Jaguar D-Sol. I don't have a lot of counter power in hand, which is not the most comfortable feeling. But they are down to 1 life. We are whittling them down. They hit me with a Nico Robin. That card's real good, guys. That new 6-cost Nico Robin is great. It's a great card. So I counter out with Neko Mamushi here. Seems good. We got a Nami from the top of deck there. If we needed to, we could have searched for it as well. We do have a Dareshi in hand. So right here, I'm going to swing for 8. Excuse me, swing for 9 real quick. That's probably going to force a blocker. It does. So now I can actually aggressively use the Nami here, and it'll leave me with 3 cards or less in hand, and I'll be able to cycle a card and draw. Look what we draw, guys. We just need to not lose this turn. So I swing for 4, and then I'm going to play out Dareshi. So I've basically determined that we can't... And look, they had to use an L-Thor on a 5k attack, guys. I'm going to play out Dareshi. We're going to get double 2k counters here. I don't need to get a Nami because I have Hody Jones in hand. Like, Nami doesn't matter, right? I don't need Nami now. I can tap down 2 blockers if I need to get around them. Oh, Charlotte Linland. Yeah, I'll gladly lose a life here. You're not gaining a life, right? They play out a blocker. Unfortunately for them, it will not go well, you know. So I know that, okay. So real quick, I knew what was going to happen there. Let me pause. They attacked with the wrong character first, okay, or the wrong attacker first. Typically speaking, you attack with your characters first, right? If let's say your character and your leader are going to attack for the same value of like 6 and 6 in this case. Normally, you would attack with your characters first, but sometimes against yellow, it might be better to attack. Well, actually, see, it's a double-edged sword, right? It could be a beige trigger, which is what it was, or it could be a Nami trigger that could pop a character or something. It's a very scary thing to do. I'm just going to say this. I think they should have only attacked with the Nico Robin, and I don't think I'd have played out of Charlotte Linland, but I don't know what was in their hand. Okay, so that's pretty much going to lock this game down because I think they're just going to... Well, they passed so quickly, guys. They just quit. So whatever was in their hand, here, I'll try to slow it down to like super, super slow speed here, and we'll hit play, see if we can see what was in their hand. Okay. It's almost there. 4, 3. It's like the longest 3 count ever. They pass, and I'm going to try and get it right on time here. Okay, paused it. So that was what was in their hand. So looking back, the best answer here actually would have been Yamato. Like, without any doubt in my mind, the correct play there was Yamato. And that would allow you, even if it doesn't matter if it doesn't pop anything, it gains you a life. 7 Lin does not necessarily gain you a life. And guess what? A blocker does not necessarily mean it's going to block for you. That's the thing about blockers, guys. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not, right? Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. And I had another Hody Jones in hand, and if I needed to, you guys saw when I did the Dareshi, if I didn't have another Hody Jones in hand, I could have got a 2k counter like I did, and a Nami. So it was one of those situations where I had a lot of answers. I was in a very good spot to win this game, and my opponent just kind of wasn't. And when it comes to this trigger aggro, notice this is like the 3rd time that we saw where like my opponents have these insanely stacked top end hands, but they don't matter versus me, right? Because I'm just going to aggressively attack in, and now those are just pretty much dead cards in hand because I have all of my cards are either trigger on play type stuff or rush, you know. So yeah. All right. Anyway, all right. Let's move on to the deck list, guys. This video ran a little bit longer than I thought it would. Okay, so here's the list, guys. Let me go ahead and move my head real quick. There it is. Nothing too fancy, guys. Oh, sorry. This is the version for OP08, guys. You weren't supposed to see this yet? No, I'm just kidding. But let me get to green, yellow. This is it right here. So this is the list I was running today. I would probably make one quick adjustment. I think I'd go down just 1 Dareshi and go up 1 Nico Robin. Or another option, probably the better option, I would go down 1 Dinjiro to go up 1 Nico Robin. Nico Robin I didn't think would be very good because it's like, well, okay, I'm double attacking everything. And it's true, against decks like... Against 4-life decks, yeah, Nico Robin's not quite... Excuse me, this card is not quite as good. But against 5 life decks, this card's insane, guys. And I do have a few 3-cost characters that it can cheat out into play. For example, I do have Bonnie and Beige. Beige, you might be laughing at that, but hey, sometimes all you need is just 1 extra body. And with our leader effect, this guy's coming in for 5 for free, right? Like, this is a 3-cost 5K in this deck, if you think about it, like with the leader effect. I mean, I'm just saying, this is like a last-ditch effort. Maybe we do need to include something like a Brulee we can cheat out as well. There is some potential for that. And again, guys, this is just the first version of the deck. We're going to have to do some revisions to see what we can come up with. Another card, excuse me. Actually, we'll go over some cards in a minute. So let me just run through the list real quick and we'll talk about it. I'm running 4 Hody Jones, 4 Beige, 4 Sanji, 4 Satori, 4 Onami. Onami's really nice. Banished double attack, guys. What more do I need to say? 4 Kikinojo, 4 Denjiro. Like I said, that probably needs to go down to 3 and go up to 3 Nico Robin. 4 Nekomamushi, 4 Frankie, 4 Jewelry Bonnie, 4 Nami. Absolute all-star. This card is an absolute all-star now in yellow, guys. It's just so good. It's just you do have to kind of build the deck with Trigger in mind, or you can't get her on play effect off effectively. You know what I mean? Nico Robin, 2 Nico Robins, and 4 Dareshi. Pause this, read this. This card, I think you're going to see for the foreseeable future, guys. It's a 3-cost draw 2, but it's not just like a Sanji's PLuffy where it's like pay 3, draw 2. No, it's pay 3, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and draw the 2 you want. You know, at least if you have, it has to be a trigger card. That's the one stipulation, and it cannot be itself. You cannot search up Dareshi. But yeah, that's it, guys. Like, this is the list. Now, real quick, I do want to show you guys the version. If you just want to try this for OP08 at your next locals, check this out. I did make a version that is going to be appropriate for OP08, where all the cards are legal. I mean, I basically took out the 2 Nico Robins and went 2 Flame Split, and I took out the 4 Dareshis and put in 4 Pagaya. This card, notice what it does, guys. A lot of people, I don't think, have ever even seen this card. This is a 1-cost, 1,000 power, 1K counter character. Once per turn, when a trigger activates, draw 2, trash 2. That says once per turn when a trigger activates. So not just your triggers, yours or your opponent's. It is once per turn, but still, like, guys, that's... if you want to just include a 1-drop, because it does feel kind of crappy when you don't have a 1-drop. It happens. But, guys, if there was ever meant to be a 1-drop for this deck, here's our guy, Pagaya. It's not a trigger. I know it's not a trigger, but guys, think about it. Our trigger ratio is not really in jeopardy just yet. We're running, let me see, 4, 8. So we're running 42 triggers in the list. I think we're going to be okay when it comes to triggers when we're trying to get stuff off like Nami. And of course, we don't have Dareshi yet. And moving forward, like I was saying, that's what's so important about having a high trigger amount is searchability with Dareshi and something to cycle out with Nami. Very, very important. Okay. Now, one more thing I do want to look at real quick. Actually, there's 2 things. First, I want to show you guys some possibilities that we can include. Remember, the 3-cost spot is kind of... let me go back to the normal version real quick. Y'all give me just a second to bring it up. Okay. There's a card here that I think is really good. This guy, Braum, I've never really messed with him. But I was looking at this card, and I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, number 1 is a 3-cost character. So pause this real quick and read it, guys. Nico Robin's trigger plays up to 1 cost 3 or less yellow character from your hand. So I guess, yeah, technically we can cheat out an Onami, but that's, that's not really great. Okay, I mean, I guess it's the same kind of body as like a Beige, right? So again, it is something we can at least cheat out. But here's the thing, guys. This card right here, Braum. Number 1, he's a 3-cost 4K, which is that's not unbearable. It's not horrible. It is a 1K counter, and it's a trigger. If you have 2 or less life cards, play this card. Like, you don't trash a card, you just play it. And look at this activate main. This is actually really interesting. Look at this. Activate main, once per turn, place a 1-cost stage at the bottom of its owner's deck, and then rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So, guys, this is Reiju hate. Like, you can get rid of her stage, and it's an activate main. That is an activate main, guys. Like, that's not an on play. I can't stress that enough. If you get this card and you're playing against Reiju, you don't swing with him ever. He just sits there. He's like a stage almost, and you literally just go, oh, okay, trash your stage, activate main, rest down your Reiju, rest down your Porsche, rest down your Chopper, rest down your fill in the blank 4-cost character. Right? This card is very strong. And you can swing with it later. You know, that's another thing. Okay, so this card, and it's a trigger. Like, I'm telling you guys, this is actually a decent card to consider, especially in OP08 before we move on to OP09 when it gets really tight for our spots. But it's not just good against Reiju. You can use this against Enel. Or, excuse me, not Enel. Calgara. Excuse me, guys. I meant to say Calgara. You can use this against Reiju, Calgara, ST14 Luffy. You know, they have the little one-cost stage. And remember, guys, it's not like, but yeah, they could just play out another one. Yes, they can, but then you can just remove another one. You know what I mean? And then, if that's the case, you might be able to tap something down that you couldn't, like Brook, like a 3-cost Brook. Or potentially, depending on how they did their Dawn, you might be able to tap down something like a Rebecca. I'm just saying, guys, this card, there is definitely some consideration in my mind for this card. Another card that's just really good is Cracker, but I didn't include this on purpose because we already have double attack on our leader. The main reason to run Cracker, yes, he is good. Okay, he's a 4-cost 5k, 1k counter, trigger, trash card to play the card, no stipulation, you just trash a card, he comes into play, and Dawn ×1, if you have less life than your opponent, double attack and plus 1000 power. This is a great card, but we're very aggressive. So let me just say this, if we have more life than our opponent, excuse me, if we have less life than our opponent, we're probably doing something wrong when it comes to this list, especially now that we have a card like Nico Robin. This card is outstanding. Another card you could potentially replace this one with, I'm not a huge fan of the idea, is something like the, Tropical Torment. Just for the time being, it might be okay, but again, I'm not a fan of this card. I just don't think it's great. Now, one of the cards that I did want to, let me just bring, I don't see it on here. It's a 1-cost card, this one. This is what I'm running for the time being for like OP08. And I have not done any testing with it, guys. Let me be 100%. Let me be 100% honest with you guys. Let me go to the list one more time. This one, this version I've not messed with. Okay, I was just playing the OP09 version, but again, the closest I basically just took out the 6 cards that were not legal, which was the Dareshi for Pagaya. So it's like a draw card effect. You see what's going on there, and then Flame Split for Nico Robin. But honestly, maybe Tropical Torment is a better 1-to-1 comparison for them. But at the same time, Flame Split is an incredibly powerful card. You might just want we might just want to run this in the list anyway. Like whenever we're finally done with the build, however we choose to run it, this might just be the best card to run anyway, right? So, but yeah. All right, that's pretty much it, guys. I just want to show the deck list one more time on what's it called? Limitless. So check this out, guys. So this is the version. Let me get rid of this. So this is the version right here. It looks like it's about $75 for this deck in this form right here, in the OP08 form. We don't know how much the OP09 cards are going to be, but like I said, unless we modify this and change it around, I think we're only going to need 6 cards from there, and I don't think neither of them are SRs, right? It's going to be Nico Robin, which will probably be I think it's just a rare. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure. Actually, we can check real quick. Hang on one second. I'm sorry, guys. 6, Nico. Yeah, this is just a rare. And then Dareshi is also just a rare, I believe. It might be an uncommon, actually. Let me find it right here. Actually, it is a rare. So they're just rares. So I could not imagine those cards being too much money. You know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense. But whatever the case is, the majority of this cost, of it being $75, is Hody Jones is almost $5 a card. Beige is around $2.50. Sanji is around $2.50. Satori's like under $1. But the new this new card, Nami, this one's around $5 to $6 right now. And the same thing with Bonnie. Actually, Bonnie's under $2. So I mean, that's about it, guys. That's the whole list. Is like those top ones we looked at. So literally, Hody Jones, Beige, Sanji, and Nami. So the idea is, if you already have these cards, you already have the list, right? It's something you can mess around with at locals. It's just a fun list. And here's the thing. The element of surprise, again, like I can't stress that enough. That's what gets a lot of these people, you know, that you see I'm playing against on the sim. I'm coming up with these decks, you know, these decks all the time. So they play against an Arlong, for example, and they're like, what does this leader even do? And, you know, it's a lot easier to win that way. So I know, you know, a lot of people like to ask me, like, what's your win rate against with these decks? Guys, I wouldn't even care what my win rate is, because it's going to change. Because once I put out a video like this, if enough people see it, then it's like, now there is no more surprise. They're like, oh, you know, some people who might watch my channel might be like, oh, you might be playing that one deck, and they know what to expect. However, I will say this. guys, this list is very brutal and has a lot of answers. Like, for example, if they think they're just going to block her up, okay, yeah, I've got Hody Jones right here. You know, if they think they're just going to gain life and, like, put triggers back where they want them, oh, Nami, I'll just banish them. You know, I'll just get rid of them. And whenever they want to start attacking us, come on down. We're running nothing but triggers. So really cool stuff here. This was a very fun deck to play. I'm done rambling. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Real quick, let me put up the playmat page here. There we go. All right. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Big shout out to everybody who supports the channel. Guys, if you are liking my videos, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, whatever you're doing to help me out, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And a big shout out to the VV Pirates playmat supporters. I got to add another name to the list. Big shout out to Gabe. He's the most recent person to buy one. He's from my locals. Thank you guys so much for supporting me in the ways that y'all do. And then last but not least, guys, the patrons. I thought I moved my head just enough. Oh, I did. Okay. All right. Big shout out to everybody who just donates to the channel, literally just to help me out, just trying to keep things going here. I really do appreciate it. Thank y'all so much. All right, guys, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. I really want to know what y'all think about this this green-yellow Yamato deck. Trigger aggro. Guys, trigger aggro. That's what's going on here. What do you guys think about it? Does it have any potential? Are you guys running a similar list? Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. All right. I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Till next time. Peace.